When you look across tonight's NBA landscape, November 21, 2025 feels like the kind of date circled on calendars long before the season even began. 5 games, 10 picks, and enough playoff energy basketball to pull every fan right into the pulse of the league. If you're here for sharp edges, deep breakdowns, and the kind of analysis that helps you stay steps ahead, then you're in the right place. Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. Before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so you never miss a breakdown packed with all the insights you need. Now let's dive into the matchups, one by one, and explore what the numbers, momentum, and underlying stories tell us about how tonight's battles should unfold. The night begins in Cleveland, where Indiana walks into hostile territory carrying a 2-13 record and a winless road resume that tells the first half of the story. Cleveland, now 10-6 and quickly rediscovering its identity, represents the exact opposite, a team tightening its execution, sharpening its edges, and stacking wins with confidence. And the probability numbers aren't subtle. The home side holds nearly every advantage and the matchup feels like a measuring stick for whether Indiana can withstand a contender that's beginning to elevate its tempo. Cleveland's rhythm is undeniable. 119.9 points per game on 46% shooting, dishing 27 assists a night and dominating the glass with 43.6 rebounds. Their rim protection is anchored by nearly 6 blocks per game, and 9 steals fuel a fast, punishing transition attack. Indiana tries to keep pace with their own scoring ambition at 110.1 points per game, but the problems flare on the other end. Opponents drop 123.1 on them, the worst mark in this matchup, and shooting only 41% forces Indiana into constant uphill possessions. Donovan Mitchell continues to operate at an MVP level with 30.2 points, 5.3 assists, and 5.2 rebounds on 50.7% shooting, slicing defenses inside the arc at 63% with ruthless consistency. Evan Mobley's 8.6 boards and 1.5 blocks secure the interior. Indiana's hope centers on Pascal Siakam, who delivers 24.7 points and nearly 7 rebounds, but the burden of carrying a roster with thin secondary creation weighs heavily. Cleveland's recent momentum widens the divide. Wins over Milwaukee, Memphis, and Miami highlight their improving cohesion, while the lone loss, an ultra-competitive battle with Houston, still showcased strong stretches. Indiana, meanwhile, has dropped 4 of 5 and surrendered massive totals of 133, 152, and 129 in the losses before finally scraping out a close win against Charlotte. Their defense struggles to control pace, close shooters, and withstand late-game punches. The core duel between Siakam and Mitchell shapes the night. Siakam brings versatile mid-post scoring, downhill force, and elbow-based playmaking, but he's battling a Cavaliers roster built with layers of length. Mitchell's command of pace, shot selection, and efficient scoring gives Cleveland a major advantage before the ball is even tipped. Indiana's supporting cast remains inconsistent and stretched thin by injuries. After breaking down every metric, matchup, and momentum signal, the pick becomes clear. Cleveland Cavaliers winner. And with both teams pushing tempo and defenses struggling to contain, the over 232.5 becomes the second play, an offensive tilted rhythm game leaning toward Cleveland's efficient scoring machine. From Cleveland we travel north to Toronto, where a red-hot Raptors team sits at 10-5 on a 5-game win streak, hosting a 1-13 Wizards group drowning in a 12-game slide. The contrast is stark. Toronto is surging, balanced, and clean. Washington is searching for identity beyond constant scrambling. The Raptors average 119.9 points with defensive stability at 114.9, while Washington produces 112.6 but allows an overwhelming 128.9 per game. Toronto's shooting flow is powered by Brandon Ingram's 51.9% sharpness and Scotty Barnes' strong interior finishing. Washington depends heavily on Alex Sir's 18.3 points and Keontae George's 16.3 with 4.8 assists. Toronto's ball movement stands at 31.9 assists per game, their rebounding at 41.7, and their defensive structure, highlighted by Barnes' 1.7 blocks and Pirtle's size, keeps possessions controlled. The Wizards fire fast and loose, hoping individual creation can mask defensive holes. Recent results paint Toronto as one of the league's hottest teams. Wins of 121-112, 110-108, 128-111, 126-113, and 119-109 showcase strong fourth-quarter execution and improved perimeter discipline. Washington's last 5 losses by 1, 8, 24, 17, and 11, signaling structural defensive collapse. Ingram vs. Sir highlights the top duel, but Toronto's layers of talent, Quickly's 6.1 assists on 45.6% shooting, Barnes' 19.3 points with well-rounded contributions, give the Raptors multiple pathways to control. After the breakdown, the first pick is simple. Toronto Raptors winner, and with both teams preferring up-tempo scoring, Toronto controlling transition, and Washington struggling to string stops, the over 237.5 becomes the second pick, shaped by rhythm, pace, and mismatches. From Toronto we shift to Dallas, where two struggling franchises desperately seek a foothold. New Orleans sits at 2-13, falling deeper into a 7-game losing streak. Dallas, though slightly ahead at 4-12, is also trying to halt consecutive losses and reclaim stability. The predictor leans Dallas, and the numbers support that tilt. New Orleans scores 108.9 per game but allows a massive 122.1. Dallas hovers at 110.3 for offense and 116.9 allowed, finding steadier rebounding at 45.4 compared to the Pelicans' 41.3. Trey Murphy 3 leads New Orleans with 19.9 points, Zion provides interior power, and Jordan Poole adds creation when available. Dallas features Cooper Flagg's 15.5-point breakout, Anthony Davis's balanced contributions, P.J. Washington's 7.7 rebounds, and D'Angelo Russell's 5.0 assists. The statistical tension lies in rebounding and defensive structure, where Dallas clearly edges ahead. Recent form widens the separation. The Pelicans' defense has surrendered 118, 126, 124, 118, and 125 in their last 5 games, dissolving any offensive spurts. Dallas has stayed far more competitive. 2-point losses, overtime pushes, and controlled stretches highlight their resilience. The duel between Murphy and Flagg embodies this matchup: efficiency meets aggression. But Dallas has more reliable support, cleaner rebounding, and better late-game execution. The first pick, Dallas Mavericks winner. And given both teams' scoring profiles and defensive concerns, the total over 223.5 becomes the second play, shaped by rhythm and necessity. Next we move into Houston, where the Rockets and Nuggets meet in a November showdown that already feels like a playoff preview. Denver walks in at 11-3, Houston at 10-3, both streaking, both confident, both battling for early Western Conference control. The predictor gives Houston 61.1%, a narrow but meaningful edge. Denver brings polished efficiency, 124.6 points on 51% shooting, 37% from deep, and nearly 30 assists. Houston counters with 123.9 points, 49% shooting, elite rebounding at 50.3 boards, and disruptive interior defense. Jokic continues to redefine the game with 29.1 points, 13.2 rebounds, and 11.1 assists, numbers that read like a custom-built basketball engine. Jamal Murray adds balanced scoring, and depth from Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun keeps Denver steady. Houston unleashes Kevin Durant at 25.5 points on 44.7% from 3, complemented by Alperen Sengun's 18.0 point, 10.4 rebound, 7.4 assist blend of paint playmaking. Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd elevate Houston's transition game. Both teams enter on 5-game surges loaded with high-scoring wins. The star triangle of Jokic, Durant, and Sengun shapes one of the most high-level skill battles of the month. But Houston's physicality, home court energy, and superior rebounding give them the razor-thin edge. The pick: Houston Rockets winner. And with 2 elite offenses and high efficiency on both sides, the over 230.5 becomes the natural second pick. And then the night ends in the Bay Area, where Portland tries to stop its slide against a Golden State team regaining momentum. Portland enters at 6-9 after 4 straight losses, surrendering heavy scoring nights. Golden State arrives at 9-8 with strong home performance and a 65.8% win projection. Portland's offense is explosive at 120.7 points with strong ball movement and rebounding, but their defense surrenders 122.5 per game. Golden State brings 114.4 points with superior defensive metrics, steadier rotations, and lower turnovers. Denny Avdija leads Portland with 25.9 points, Drew Holiday with 8.2 assists, and Donovan Clingan anchors the rim. Golden State counterbalances with Stephen Curry's 27.9 points on prime efficiency, Jonathan Kuminga's rebounding, and Draymond Green's defensive direction. Portland's biggest problem remains perimeter containment, and against Curry, that becomes a structural liability. The recent 4-game slide highlights late-game collapses, while Golden State has tightened its late-clock execution with close victories and strong shooting rhythm. The pick becomes clear: Golden State Warriors winner. And with Portland's pace meeting Golden State's efficiency, the total over 233.5 is the second play. Tonight brings contrasting narratives: powerhouses tightening their grip, struggling teams fighting for oxygen, and statement games that shape early season identities. If you found value in this deep dive and want expert-level predictions every single day, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you never miss the next breakdown. This is Beyond the Box Score, where numbers meet narrative and every matchup becomes a story worth telling.